deep within the icy mountains, near Bergen, Norway. Two hikers stumble upon a grim sight. A woman's body, burned beyond recognition, lies hidden in a rocky valley known as Isdal in the Ice Valley. Locals already called this place Death Valley, after a series of suicides and tragic accidents there in the 1960s. At this time, what the police found would become one of Norway's greatest unsolved mysteries. The discovery was made on November 29, 1970. When police arrived, they found the woman's body lying on her back, surrounded by the remnants of a small fire. Nearby were traces of petrol and strange personal belongings, an empty bottle of St. Halvard liquor, a pack of female sleeping pills, a broken umbrella, a watch and jewelry placed neatly beside her, and fragments of burnt paper, possibly once part of a passport. All identifying labels had been cut off her clothes. Even the serial numbers on her belongings had been removed or scratched away. Her fingerprints were partially burned, but investigators managed to obtain a partial match, later linking them to a set of fingerprints found on personal items left in luggage at Bergen railway station. A few days after the body was found, police discovered 2 suitcases belonging to her at the station. Inside were wigs, foreign currency from several countries, prescription glasses, clothing with all labels removed, and a small notepad filled with mysterious codes. Those codes were eventually deciphered, not as espionage secrets, but as a travelogue marking her movements across Europe, cities, dates, and hotel stays. Still, it didn't explain who she was. Police traced her to at least 8 different aliases, all used to register at hotels across Norway and Europe. Each false identity was backed by phony passports, and she claimed to be from various countries: Belgium, Germany, and the Netherlands. She had traveled through Oslo, Stavanger, Hamburg, and Paris, and many of her trips coincided with military or missile testing activity along Norway's west coast, a connection that fueled suspicion she could have been a spy during the Cold War. Norway was then a key NATO outpost, home to radar and missile tracking sites monitoring Soviet activity. The woman's secretive behavior, constant changes of identity, and foreign connections fit the tradecraft of espionage. The autopsy report deepened the mystery. Her lungs contained soot, and her blood held a high level of carbon monoxide, indicating she was alive when the fire started. She had also ingested between 50 and 70 phenobarbital tablets, a potentially lethal dose. The official conclusion: probable suicide. Yet many officers privately doubted that. Several clues, the careful removal of labels, the multiple aliases, the burned passport suggested deliberate cover-up, not despair. Witnesses recalled seeing her in the days before her death. They described her as tall, elegant, and well-dressed, speaking fluent German, English, and some French. She told one hotel clerk she was a traveling saleswoman, another that she was an antique dealer. Some said she seemed nervous, or as if she was being watched. Over time, countless theories emerged. Some believed she was a Soviet or Eastern Bloc agent monitoring NATO sites. Others suspected Israeli intelligence, or that she was involved in black market trading of weapons technology. And a few thought she might have been a refugee or double agent, caught between 2 worlds, and silenced before she could reveal too much. Decades later, in the 2010s, Norwegian journalists and scientists reopened the case. DNA and isotope analysis revealed she was likely born in Central or Southeastern Europe in the 1930s, and had possibly spent her childhood in France or Germany. Her dental work, including gold crowns, uncommon in Norway, matched techniques used in Central and Southern Europe. Despite this, her true identity remains unknown. She does not match any missing person record in Europe. Her body was buried in Bergen's Mælendal cemetery under a simple headstone reading, "Unknown woman, found the 29th of November 1970, more than half a century later." The Isdal Woman remains one of Europe's deepest Cold War enigmas. A nameless lost between East and West. Somewhere, someone once knew who she was, but in the frozen silence of the truth was buried forever.